FM News. On point.
Let's take a look at the news. I'm Lynn Komsha. The National Council for the Elderly wants the Electoral Commission to allow older persons to cast their votes without lining up behind their prospective candidates because it is tiresome. The chairman of the council, Joram Tibasimwa, says most people who are above 60 years cannot stand in lines for a long time.
All the persons should be given some form of affirmative action by ensuring that they do not line up for long hours, but rather be given opportunity to vote as they come.
We, however, asked the elderly to actively take part in the election of the members of parliament who will ably represent their interests in parliament.
The amendment of the Constitution, Article 32, and the Parliamentary Elections Act, Article 78, to allow all the persons representation in Parliament is a great milestone. This will increase the participation of all the persons in decision-making and political processes of this country. We continue to mobilize and urge all the persons to vote for representatives who know and understand their issues to represent them in Parliament.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Gender has assured the elderly who've missed their grant to be patient because they are currently working on areas which were left out during the lockdown. During the lockdown between March and July, many elderly people failed to move to the nearest parishes to receive their money. The National Project Coordinator of the Social Assistance Grant for Empowerment, Sam Chodu, says they are currently revisiting the areas where the elderly missed out to give them their money for the months of January to June.
Under the national rollout, we expect to add 189,078 beneficiaries. So in total, we hope to have 358,420 older persons benefiting. But just overall, I want to let you know that we have covered the whole country. Those older persons who do miss the money because of one reason or the other, we are now doing what is called home enrollment. Home enrollment is supposed to make sure that people who missed, maybe because you're in the hospital, maybe because you had gone to visit somebody, we are now enrolling them to the program. We enroll them and now even pay them.
Police in Entebbe is holding a one Geoffrey Wandera, 39, a fisherman, for allegedly stealing an ATM card from an old woman. It is alleged that the suspect joined an old woman in an ATM enclosure and pretended to be helping her. In the process, he switched his fake ATM card with that of the victim. The ATM rejected the fake ATM card. The suspect, having helped in vain, opted to walk away. But the old woman was suspicious. She made an alarm and the suspect was arrested there. The Deputy Kampala Metropolitan Police PRO Luka Waisije says that Wandera, a resident of Abaita Babidi in Entebbe municipality, is being interrogated at Entebbe police station, and upon searching him, they recovered other suspected stolen ATM cards.
The suspect was found in possession of several ATM cards in the names of Sara Nakauka, Centenary Bank, Issa Abiria Sura of Equity Bank, Nabadda Sara of Tropical Bank, Freddy Mwesezi of Pride Microfinance, and Bosco Bongomin of Centenary Bank. The two other credit cards had faded identities, but of course we are currently calling upon those who lost their credit cards and their names have been mentioned above to get in touch with the Entebbe police station for follow-up. Investigations are ongoing.
In other news, this afternoon, the World Health Organization announced it would investigate newly released reports of alleged sexual exploitation and abuse against Congolese individuals perpetrated by the World Health Organization's Ebola aid workers in the Democratic Republic of Congo. A year-long investigation by the New Humanitarian and the Thomas Reuters Foundation included interviews with 51 women who recounted several instances of abuse during the 2018 to 2020 Ebola crisis, mainly by men who self-identified as working for the World Health Organization. The investigation also identified abuses by members of the UN Children's Fund, Médecins Sans Frontières, Oxfam, World Vision, and the U.S. Migration Agency and IOM, the medical charity Alima, and Congo's health ministry. The majority of accounts said that numerous men frequently plied women with drinks and either had positioned them, forced them to have sex in exchange for a job, or terminated their contracts when they refused. Some women were hired on short-term contracts and promised salaries more than twice the standard wage in the area. There were also accounts of women being locked in rooms by men who solicited jobs or threatened to terminate their employment if they did not comply. Approximately 80% of survivors globally do not report sexual assault. The abuses in the Congo were no different. A survey that was a part of the investigation found that 18 agencies involved in the Ebola response said they received no reports of sexual exploitation. Most women who participated in the investigation said they were unaware of how to report instances of sexual exploitation or abuse. Now, in health news, during the early stages of the coronavirus lockdown, heavy drinking increased sharply, particularly among women. Researchers from the RAND Corporation surveyed 1,540 adults from the U.S. during the peak of coronavirus to determine any changes in drinking habits. The team found that binge drinking among women, defined as 4 or more drinks within a couple of hours, soared by 41% over the previous year. The increase in alcohol consumption during lockdown could lead to worsening mental health problems such as anxiety and depression. Alcohol can have negative health consequences, so this information suggests another way that the pandemic may be affecting physical and mental health. That was the news.
XFM News on point.